Greetings and welcome. Much love to my quicker, liquor, picker, uppers. I need some help. Here's the scenario. We've just crossed 2,000 numbers of barrel age community. And I'm gonna tell you something. We're gonna be at 200,000 very soon. Before I get there, I want to appreciate this luxury. Our community is small enough now where we all can sit in an intimate setting whenever I post a video and really dialogue. This channel is being built not just off of my knowledge and experience in the beverage industry, not just because of my shining personality, not just because of my humble nature, which I truly am humble. I'm blessed to be here, but you gotta think you're awesome if you want to do this. But I digress. You are what makes this community. The advice that I have gotten in the comments has enriched my knowledge about my profession, about my vocation, and about my presentation. And right now I'm asking for some advice on my presentation. I love videography equipment, and I have more than someone with my skill level should have. My long form videos, like my chartreuse video that's doing extremely well, was shot by a bona fide professional photographer and videographer. Shout out to One Lens Media. In between our shoots, which are going to continue forever, I want to be able to present some content, and I'm looking to find what my MVP is, my minimum viable product. I need a scene where I can speak to the camera and be seen and my emotion and passion be conveyed. I'm going to need to display bottles that have writing on them, and they need to be easily readable, and the reflections and the highlights need to be in control. And lastly, a place to put beverages that fits. And I think this is a winner. Please let me know what you think of it when you see it, because if we can get this dialed in, it takes no time to set up, it's always available. I end up getting paralyzed by perfection, and I don't want to do that anymore. Good is my ally, perfect is our enemy. So I want to know if this is a good setup and if you like it. We should practice. Let's practice. Shall we practice? In the barrel age, one of the most important spirits is American whiskey and all of its derivatives. Translation, we love bourbon around here. We love bourbon around here because it's one of America's first exports that is so associated with the place that it is made that it's not known as American whiskey from Bourbon County, Kentucky. It's just straight up bourbon. Just like we don't say Pinot Noir from this beautiful place in France called Burgundy, we say Burgundy, because that Pinot Noir from the old world is so associated with the place. Bourbon is from America. Bourbon must be 51% corn. Bourbon may be made with wheat, rye, malt as the remainder of the mash bill. I don't know if rice is included. You probably can't do that. Cereal grains. We have to get a definition exactly for what cereal grains are, and then we'll have it answer. A lovely example of a bourbon that fits some of the criteria that I think is important is Nelson Brothers Classic. Have you ever heard of Nelson Brothers? If you haven't heard of Nelson Brothers, surely a label you may have heard of, Belle Meade. This was their first offering. Belle Meade was sourced from NGP and blended to great perfection, and some of their cask strength releases are the most loved products in the bourbon world, and they are harder and harder to find and harder to get. Belle Meade started coming out with the cask series in their honey cask grail, like straight grail. Nelson Brothers is the effort by the Nelson Brothers, who were responsible for Belle Meade, to honor their family history, because their four-time great-grandfather was one of the first distillers of sour mash charcoal filtered American whiskey, which we need to talk about, but not now. They wanted to distill and bottle their own juice. So what happens when you go from sourcing to making it yourself? Number one, you put yourself 2 years behind already, because it's going to be at least 2 years from when you got your grain, and when you got your mash dialed in, and when you know your sources are correct, and you mash it, and you ferment it, and you distill it, and you put it in a barrel. It's going to be 2 years later before that is ready, and I think the youngest in here is 4 years. I probably would say to put out a good quality 2-year bourbon, it'll take a company about 5 years. And what else is going to happen? Those barrels that are 6 years, 11 years, 7 years, that they were able to source from MGP are no longer available to anybody, pretty much. Whiskey got younger. I believe in this product. their Nelson Brothers classic, and I believe this competes with Maker's Mark, Wild Turkey, not 101. But what does it really compete with? Maker's Mark, Wild Turkey. What else would I put in that category? Basil Hayden, for sure. There's another B word that I don't use, but we put that right there. In a restaurant, you're gonna pay about $12 for this on the rocks. So Call bourbon, if you will. Any bartenders remember Call spirits and Super Call spirits? We're coming in 46.6933. Call bourbon, if you will. Any bartenders remember Call spirits and Super Call spirits? We're coming in 46.6933. Any of my bourbon nerds, you can probably track down where some of this is from because this is still partly sourced. The Nelson brothers sadly have divested from the company and it's now pretty much owned by Constellation. They have treated me like family. Whatever's going on behind the scenes, I love them and wish them well, and I'm always going to support their products because it is great. This, in my opinion, for a nice steakhouse is the perfect bourbon to build a program around. I just did a menu where I featured this as the spirit for the signature whiskey sour. Every bar needs a signature whiskey sour, and you know what signature means? Signature does not mean that you create your own recipe. Signature means that you follow the original recipe and you follow it with style, grace, and panache. Get excited about not changing the recipe. Get enthusiastic about taking recipes that ain't yours, which you're gonna do any damn way. Rant time. Let's just go. I'm sick of signature cocktails. Nobody cares about your cocktail menu. Bartenders, nobody cares about your signature cocktail. It's dumb. Stop making signature cocktails. Stop. Now that comes with a caveat. Stop making signature cocktails until you've mastered the classics. And the whiskey sour with this bad boy is beautiful. I'm not going to drink any now, but I'm going to pour a little in a Glencairn before I leave you and tell you that I want you every single day to drink with gusto, to eat with passion, to listen with flavor, and to think with a critical, sensitive mind. My name is Khalid Williams. I'm all about drinks that matter. I surround myself with people that care. This is the barrel age rolling out.